Yeah! Welcome to the first official episode of the Perplexing Perspective!
Yeah.
Okay.
My fault.
I just looked like I would try hard.
My fault.
But whatever. I am your co-host, Julian.
And I'm Max.
And we are here to dive deeper into people's perspectives and why they perplex us. Awesome. Dude, we're going to start this first episode off with a little bit of introduction to the man to my left, your guys' right, or maybe your left. I don't know how this is going to look on YouTube. Hopefully we both look sexy. But we're going to start it off with an introduction to one of my best friends in this world, a brother.
Likewise.
A absolute menace behind the camera, a menace behind an editing booth, a menace with a basketball in his hands, a menace with a volleyball set, a menace on the right side, an absolute beast in just life, an absolute spiritual warrior, just
appreciate you.
The man, the myth, the legend, the 6'5", the shelf. Maxwelljmcdonough.
Man, we're really starting it off now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're here. I apologize, guys, if you hear me yell at a cat. It is our cat, Alake. He is running around, currently jacking stuff up.
Alake, no.
Apologies for that, but all you pet owners, you'll know. Couldn't get him locked up. But
he's messing with the curtains.
Maxwell.
Yes.
How the hell are you, my guy?
I'm doing good right now. I'm really happy to be here with you. I'm really happy to be doing this. It's been a long time coming, long time in the making. So I'm pumped.
Oh, dude. Pumped isn't even the right word.
I'm relaxed, but I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to talk to you.
Likewise.
I'm going to treat you like a guest.
Please.
I'm going to act as a host. I'm going to make you comfortable. I'm going to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because we won't get your perspectives if we just ask you questions that are simple and easy to answer.
100%.
But as I say that, I'm going to contradict myself and ask you something that's simple and easy to answer.
Yes.
I would ask you, who are you? But we could be here forever if we just start listing off your accolades.
That could be a whole episode itself.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Not because of accolades, just because of diving into
No, because of accolades, because you're the man. You're him. Himmy.
I'm working on it. I'll be somebody someday, I promise.
You're somebody today to me, all right?
I appreciate that.
No, just playing. So, let's start. Where are you from?
So, I am from Madison, Wisconsin. That's where I spent the most of my childhood. But I was born in Rockville, Illinois. And I also split time between Madison and a small town in the northwoods of Wisconsin called Minocqua.
Say that in English this time?
The town is called Minocqua. It's
okay.
It's
what would for the
I don't know
viewers,
the definition. I should know this.
Well, not necessarily what the definition is, but what would we know from Minnetonka? What?
So Minnetonka is in Minnesota.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Shout out you, but no. So Minocqua, it's. I mean, I'm trying to think of like. If you're from the Midwest, you'll more than likely know this, hopefully. Like, it's close to, like, a town called Rhinelander. Wisconsin's got a bunch of, like,
I know
Milwaukee,
names for Madison, and, like...
Yeah. I think Milwaukee and Madison.
Yeah, I think that's as far as it goes. But
that's fair, though. That's fair.
Awesome. So, obviously, I have to ask the question that everybody's asking. Yeah. You're from Wisconsin. You're from the cheese and drunk state. Which do you prefer, cheese or drunk?
Oh man, well, preferably both. That's
preferably both is the correct answer.
Just kidding. No, I mean, for the context of myself, like when I first like actually started drinking, like I was around 20-ish. Like that's when I actually started like trying alcohol. So like I didn't like, and my parents are not big drinkers at all, and I'm not really myself either. But I think I had a phase, but
I had to get you this side because
that's fair.
I met you your sophomore year of college.
That's fair.
That's a different argument.
There was a period, I think, as everyone has for sure.
But, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean, overall though, like, so the alcohol part of that doesn't stick a ton with me.
Fair. But the cheese.
I mean, like, that's just like it's just everywhere.
So, dude, I'm going to be...
It's not a stereotype. It's just the truth.
It's just the fact.
Yeah, it's a fact.
How does it feel being from the state that has the top 14 drunkest counties? Is it top 14, 13?
I mean, we basically own all of them. It's pretty wild.
You're like 13 out of the top 20, but shout out Gallatin County. We knocked them off the spot last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should be excited about that, but I'm excited. I'm here. I'm hyped.
I think a lot of Wisconsiners moved.
You think it was just like transplants?
I think that was KD to the Warriors.
Yeah, KD to the
Warriors. I'm just kidding.
Beautiful. But you held it down. You brought us into the top 20. You brought us to the number 1 spot. I don't know if you did it solo, but
I pray to God.
I pray it wasn't just you.
But I didn't think it was that bad, but if it was, oh my God.
Yeah.
But no.
But so you gotta tell the story, because we have a store called the Co-op.
Yeah.
Here in Bozeman on Main Street, and like if you live in Bozeman, like that's where we go to get like
nice groceries.
Like nice groceries. Like if you're like, hey, I want to eat really clean, I like organic, I like variety. To me personally, they have a lot of cheese. But from what I heard, you got to tell this story, because apparently, apparently.
So my personal anecdote for like leaving home and when I first came here. So I was 18 when this happened, and it was during the middle of COVID. And so we just got to town, and had a couple days before I actually moved into my dorm. So we went naturally, and we're going to go get some groceries for the Airbnb that we were staying at. And so we went to the Co-op on Main Street, and my mom was like, I need you to go grab this cheese. And I was like, yeah, of course. And so I went over to the cheese section, and I looked there for 5 seconds and was like, the store actually has no cheese. And for context, though, any grocery store in the West that you have gone to and you've gone to their cheese section, imagine that times 3 in any store in Wisconsin. Like, I feel like everywhere.
I feel like we need to put a picture up. Like, if we can get a picture of like the cheese section in Co-op and put that up on the screen, because I feel like everybody that's not from Wisconsin just looks at that and goes, dude, that's so much cheese.
Dude, if you went to the Co-op near my house where I grew up, you would be like, oh no, that was a joke. Like, he's right. Like, no, I'm dead serious. Like, on everything I love, I walked in there and was like, there's nothing here. And that's because in the Co-op that I had, there was the deli section, and then there was a whole aisle of just cheese. Like, imagine one of those Co-op aisles just full of cheese. And then the whole middle section has this huge display of all these crazy good cheeses. And then on the back wall, it's like, here are your like party cheeses, like that you put on like a platter. Like, I'm being so serious. Like, you're laughing, but I'm so serious right now.
I have never, ever in my entire life heard about party cheeses.
Dude, I swear to God, they're like, yo, this is a fondue cheese. Like, I'm
fondue cheese.
Like, I'm so serious. Like, so no disrespect. I just was a little surprised. I'm also really sick of Tillamook. Shout out Tillamook, but I hate you.
Do not sponsor this podcast.
Do not sponsor me.
Do not email
us. I'm not taking it. Anywhere in Wisconsin, please sponsor me. Tillamook, I'm going to cry.
If you look, I want y'all to know that you will make this man's day. Because I remember we were making something.
I can more than likely go into any grocery store in town and tell you what cheeses or like dairy products come from Wisconsin. And that's scary, but it's also...
I feel like that's your Roman Empire.
That is my Roman Empire.
Like, cheese. You just be sitting there thinking about cheese. What's the new TikTok trend? What radicalized... radicalized?
Yeah. You got it.
Radicalized you? The Co-op cheese section. That's what
I did become a diehard Wisconsinite in that moment. Like, I was like, I'm so ready to leave the Midwest. I'm like, I want to be in Montana. I want to be in the mountains and everything. And then, like, the cheese section came up, and I was like, nah, this has got to go. I was like, we're going back.
You never
Ship me back right now.
Yeah.
Until you leave, man.
Yeah, crazy.
Be grateful for what you have.
If you are a small cheese company from Wisconsin, please email us. Our email's in the YouTube
holla
description.
At the boy.
Yeah, holla at the boy.
I'll be bulking soon, so I'll eat a lot of it.
Hey, I like cheese like the next man. Well, maybe not this next man, but like imagine another man next to me.
Yeah.
And like I like cheese as much as he does.
Put us on some fromage, baby. Let's go.
I don't even know what that from. Oh yeah, no, that's cheese and French.
Yeah. We took French class together. Come on, man.
We did take French class together. What was that? 2 years ago?
Oh my god, it's 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Oh well, now that we brought up French class, I feel like I have to tell the story of how we became friends. So, I was a junior. You were a sophomore, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I needed another language credit to finish my degree. Or to be on the road to finish my degree. And I was like, I already took French in high school. I took French 1 in college. Now let's just take French. I actually wasn't going to take French 2 because I think I actually completed my language courses, but like it covered something else because liberal studies is weird.
Yeah.
And so it covered something else. And like my advisor, I'm not going to shout out my advisor because I almost didn't graduate because of my advisor, but that's a different story for another day. No hate, all love. I understand it. Like,
it's just a little stressful.
I've lied on a resume too, but I'm sorry, I got beef. I got beef with like most college advisors, but
oh man,
yeah. So randomly got put in a French 2 class. Pretty much showed up to the first class trying to like basically figure out if I actually had to attend, and then I realized attendance kind of was great, and I was like, okay, this be like the one class that I go to.
forgot that was so crucial that year, like because after COVID they were like, if you miss 3 classes you just get docked like half the lesson points, which was crazy.
And so what was it? So we started the class in January. It was like mid-February.
I think it was, I think you could honestly even say late February.
It could have been late February. I was pretty much like, I'm here so I don't get fined. I am here so I don't get fined. And we get
elite ball knowledge.
Yeah, right. Me and him finally like we get put in a group where we sit at the same table or something happened, and
even my memory is kind of hazy.
Yeah,
like,
dude, it feels like forever.
Like what kind of clicked that made it go?
I just I was in a good mood that day. Like I had my caffeine. I woke up. I actually slept more than the 4 hours I usually get.
Yeah.
And I was in a good mood. And so I was cracking jokes. Max was cracking jokes. And we were all just like it was just ha ha, hee hee. The funniest class I've ever been to. And I was like, I kind of rock with this dude. I had no friends at the time. Like I was on the track team, but that's a story for another day.
I think we should get into that in your episode.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you want to, yeah. Because
that should be a brief story because I have a lot more important things that I think you and I could cover.
Yeah, 100%.
But
but basically, we were just cutting up in this class, bro. What's her name?
Pascal?
Yeah, Professor Pascal. Shout out Pascal.
She was awesome, by the way.
Oh,
shout out
Pascal.
Shout out Pascal.
I almost cared about the class, which is more than I can say about most of my language classes. Yeah, it's French. Like, when are we ever going to use that except like hitting like 3 lines to pick up a chick every once in a while or something? But yeah, and we were just cutting up, and basically, correct me if I'm wrong, I look at you and go, what are you doing this weekend?
100%, and I go, oh man, like I think I'm just hanging out with my friends, and then you looked at me and you go, oh sweet, I'm coming. Like, dude, you didn't even like, you were like, oh cool, like you mind if I join anything? And I would have been like, yeah, like no, you were like, oh sweet, I'll be there. And I was like, and I was not like upset about it at all because I was like, this dude's cool, like I'd love to be friends. But I was surprised. I was like, oh okay, this is how we're doing it. I was like, sweet, all right, yeah, I guess I'm seeing you.
Because I'm just like, I had been here for almost 9 months. And didn't have like real friends at the time.
Yeah.
And so as soon as you were like, I'm hanging out with my friends, and I was like, that sounded somewhat inviting. Go for it. Run it. It wasn't a question. It wasn't.
You were taking it regardless.
Yeah, no, I was like, bro, I'll be there. And you were just like, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
For show.
Honestly, like.
And that's all she wrote. Like literally, we hung out that one time, and that's all she wrote, and like inseparable.
Yeah, that's like. There was honestly no looking back, I think, after that. I think that was...
Yeah.
I feel like I'm relating to one of those memes right now where it's like me randomly running into bro on one like Tuesday or something, not knowing like the lore that we
had later. Oh my gosh. Yeah, or it's like, dude, where'd he come from? Spawned.
Dude, yeah.
Just showed up one day and just never left.
I think it's so funny too because like, this isn't bad at all, but I think it's just a testament to how kind of guys work is like, we didn't talk for like 2 months.
No, dude.
Like I think I was like, "What's your name?" And you were like, "Julian." "What's your name?" "Max." And that was like,
and we were like,
cool with
that's
that.
all I need to know.
Because we were just copying the girls at our table for like answers.
Shout out Lauren. Shout out Flynn.
Shout out Flynn. Flynn carried me.
Not gonna lie, I was so mad Flynn sat next to you. Like, Lauren was great. But Lauren
Flynn was a whiz, bro.
Dude, Lauren used to write in a way that I couldn't read her paper. And I was like, dude, move your freaking elbow. I'm gonna fail.
Most of the time during the test, I was okay.
Yeah.
Like, there was never a test where I like, well, like,
it was like a class
mid class though. If it was like
mid class, we had been talking the whole time, and then she goes, "Yeah, like, answer these 5 questions," and I go. Yo,
Flynn, you'll pass that.
I was about to write "Je ne sais pas" 5 times, bro.
Je ne parle français.
Je ne parle français.
Which is also, that's broken French. Do not quote me on that.
I don't think we actually could like speak full French.
I think I'd be able to pick up like maybe at best.
I think
one every 5 words. Yeah, everything else after that.
I could get the gist of what you were saying, and then like
it would be,
and I'd just go.
It would be sketch if I tried. I'm not gonna lie. For sure. But yeah.
All right.
That history. That's us.
That's us. That's how I met the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, and that's how this beautiful thing started. So can't complain.
Yeah, and what 3? Is it 3 or
now 3?
Please don't tell me it's 4, because
no. I mean,
what do you think? It's like 6, 7.
Had
to farm it.
No, 3 years ago now. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we're past 3 years now. Wow.
We didn't even celebrate our anniversary.
No, we didn't, bro. We forgot the date.
I feel like I don't know the date.
No, bro. I don't know.
I don't think there was ever a point.
We're fucking men. We don't know the date.
Yeah, nah, dude. We're gonna say
we got like 3 anniversaries in our head. It's like our mom's birthday, the lady when we met the lady, and like her birthday.
that. I barely remember my birthday. Like, Leah was like, "Hey, your birthday's tomorrow." I was like,
"Dude, no way!"
Yeah, I was like, "Really already?"
Yeah.
All right, let's switch up the vibe real quick. Let's get deep.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah, let's get after it.
All right. Be prepared, because when I say switch up the vibe, I'm switching up the vibe.
I think it was good to keep it light, but let's get into it.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. All right. When's the last time you really sat down and was just fully proud of who you are and who you became? Because, look, I know we're people that very much understand that, like, things that happened to us built us and things of that sort, but I want to know, personally, when is the last time you sat down and had a revelation and was like, wow, I'm on my way to becoming who I want to be? And now that can be for physical goals, that can be financial, that can be mental, that can be emotional. Like, you don't have to do a money spread or nothing, but when's the last time you sat down and like went like,
you'll just be seeing debit and credit cards if I do that.
Just cards.
Old school IDs.
Old school IDs. But yeah, so when's the last time you sat down and was just like, hey, I'm on my way?
Yeah. So I would say I have 2 answers for this.
Perfect.
And I'm going to start with the physical. So at the end of January, I had a weight goal of hitting 210.
Right.
Because for context, like, my whole life, I've been skinny, and like, even relatively, I'm still skinny. Like, I've put on a lot of weight. Like, I started at 180.
Right.
And so, like, and that was in August.
Yeah.
And so, like, when I hit that, like, in January, I was just like, wow, like, I really put everything into this. And so that was hard not to, I think, sit back and kind of have a moment of like, yeah, I'm really proud of myself right now. Like, right. I'm really doing all the things that I said I would do for myself and by myself. Mm-hmm. So, I was proud of that. But I think the more important one for me, where I really realized I was proud of myself and a lot of the growth that I've had in recent years, was in December, and I was having a conversation with my mom. And she was asking. We were just kind of talking about life. And I had a couple months in advance from that, I had gone through a breakup. So there was still a lot on my mind, and I think there was still a lot of feelings for sure. But it was the first time, like, in a really long time, where I was like, I actually can't complain about life overall. Like, there's a lot of really good things happening, and like there's a momentum that's cascading in my life that's for the better that I hadn't felt in a very, very long time. So I was talking to my mom about that, and she was kind of, I told her, I was like, yeah, honestly, I felt really like happy with myself recently. Like I'm really proud of what I'm doing. And she's like, that's really cool. Like I haven't felt that way in a long time. And that's not because like anything that anyone did, like from my mom. That's no shade against anyone. It's more just like, life's been a chaotic, honestly, decade, I could say.
Yeah.
And so I think, there's moments where she got caught up and she's like, that's really cool to hear. And I had this revelation in that moment of like, wow, I'm really on my path right now. Like I'm really fulfilling my purpose in this moment right now. And maybe it doesn't feel like that every day, but I'm taking steps every day to do that.
That's powerful.
Yeah, then I made a promise to myself and to my mom a while back to break generational curses. Like that was the thing that we talked about a lot. And that was the first time where I ever felt like this is truly a step in that direction.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. Because I feel like because we are who we are and we're always going to strive for more. And like not even just money wise or anything like that. We don't limit ourselves.
Yeah.
And since we don't limit ourselves and we have that drive and that passion and that power to move ourselves forward, it's sometimes hard to sit and go and like turn around and go, oh shit. Like I've put work in.
Yeah.
And I've done this.
Yeah.
And I've done and it's huge. And that's hard to sit there and that's really hard to sit there and sometimes just accept the fact that, hey, I'm not exactly where I want to be.
Yeah.
But I'm on my way.
I resonate with that a lot. Because I think I'm super motivated by having things done. And like that's a big factor in my life. So I'm very like goal oriented.
Right.
And I'm pretty ambitious. Like I don't really feel shame in admitting that anymore. Like that's just, I'm a pretty driven person.
There's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with being ambitious. It's just what you're willing to do to get there can sometimes stray, if that makes sense.
And I'll be completely honest too. Like I've been taking it slower in recent history because I've kind of felt a burnout for a while. I think even like creatively to an extent.
Fair.
And so I've been kind of going back to the drawing board, but I think I've been doing a lot more just kind of like, I don't want to say like in silence because that feels corny, but like, I'm just doing a lot of things for myself. Kind of like I've retreated a lot more. I think that's the right word, but there's still a lot of work going into that. And there's a lot of things 100%. That are still going to get me to that path. And I'll fully admit, I have a lot of goals of stuff I still want to accomplish.
Of course.
And maybe I'm not even at the doorstep of those yet, but I'm confident in myself and I'm confident in my abilities to say I am going to get there and I'm going to be somebody. And you might say like I'm somebody right now. And I agree with that, but like I really believe I have the potential to be somebody.
For sure.
But I feel like it's just how far I want to take it.
Yeah. I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to be somebody and you're going to be the person that you really want to be and things are going to work out for you the way that you want them to. Obviously, it's not going to be an easy road. It's not going to be a simple road.
And I might fail and I'm okay with that. I accept that.
Hell yeah, you have to be.
Yeah.
There is no success without failure. There is no winning without losing.
100%.
And like even when you do win, like having. This is like why I will never be upset with someone's ambition.
Yeah.
I'll be upset with like the tactics they have.
Yeah.
Having goals is beautiful. Having goals is, I feel like if you're a goalless person,
it's hard for me to relate to them.
You know what?
Respectfully.
You know what? I'm gonna probably already gonna piss some people off in its first episode, but as you're gonna realize, fight me if you hate me. I don't really care.
Or comment down below.
Or comment down below. Facts. DM me. Dude. Or come on the podcast and we'll argue in person. I'm not worried about that. But
yeah.
If you're a goalless person, in my personal opinion, you're useless.
I mean,
you're useless to the people around you. You're useless to society. You're useless to everything.
Yeah.
And in my personal opinion, if you have no goals, no aspirations, no nothing whatsoever, you're useless. Because if you're never, I wish I knew her name, but I was just listening to The Basement. Shout out The Basement.
Yes,
love
actually.
you, Tim Ross. Tim Ross, you are crazy. Max put me onto it.
Tim Ross, you are the man.
Dude, I think personally that's either the dream guest or the dream guest spot for me on a podcast would be The Basement.
Yeah.
But, dude, a better me is a better we. And a better we is a better us.
100%.
And if I'm not trying to better myself, whether that's within a relationship, at a job, in any aspect in life, I am hindering the team.
100%.
And whatever you want to consider your team, I sincerely do believe if you are a goalless person, you are a useless person. So if you are like, I'm not very ambitious, that's cool. Like you don't have to have that unfazable passion, but you gotta want to get somewhere.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think everyone should have an ambition to do something big or small, and that's okay.
Yeah,
because everything has an impact. I really do believe that.
I sincerely
not everyone.
believe.
If everyone was striving to have a world impact all the time, it would be carnage. I wholeheartedly believe that. Or they just want to be successful overall.
I
Maybe not
feel
carnage,
like feel like everybody does strive. Maybe not strive, but I feel like everybody does have a world impact because you say you want to be somebody, and obviously. Because I'm your friend and your brother, I'm going to tell you that to me you are somebody.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, you never know who you have talked to or talked about or had a conversation with or bumped into or showed kindness to somebody that it changed their entire life.
Yeah.
I'll say this for me, meeting you and you being the person that you are has changed the pathway of my life.
I appreciate that a lot.
And so to me, you are somebody.
Thank you.
And you are one of my many mentors in a lot of ways, even though we're pretty much the same age.
Yeah.
Like you have mentored me in where I fail a lot in life, and I sincerely appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate
and obviously,
you that.
like, don't quit now, because just because you're somebody to me doesn't mean shit to nobody else. But
yeah,
I feel like everybody has that impact, and so like. The world does change because, especially when it's someone like you, I feel like the world has and will continue to change because you're in it.
I appreciate that.
And that's huge for me because there's no way that you don't have an impact. But of course, I want the world for you.
Appreciate that. Can I finish this off?
Section? Run us. We got 1 minute until we got to take a break.
I appreciate all your kind words immensely, and I think you know that too. I've been contemplating this a lot recently. Like, we joke about like being like nonchalant and whatever, but like in all seriousness, I never want to be that. Like I really resonate with what Timothy Chalamet said at his recent award ceremony. Like I've thought this for years now. Like I really want to be great, and like Kendrick as well. He's like, tell me why you deserve the greatest of all time. I think about that a lot, and my answer to that is because I will never stop.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And that's who I am.
We are back.
We are back.
So we just left off about
pursuit of greatness.
Oh my gosh. What a absolute bar. Pursuit of greatness is one way to phrase that. I want to switch it up a little bit.
Please.
I want to get your perspective on this because obviously, like, you're young, single, bachelor. That if I wasn't taken already, I'd have to answer some questions to some people. But in all honesty, I ain't got nothing to answer. I'd hit them with the little baby. Me no hablo inglés. But man, so being a young single bachelor, you've been in some relationships.
I have, yeah.
I almost said you've been around the block, but that ain't you.
That's definitely not me.
That is not you.
No.
It's just a phrase that came to mind. But
yeah, I appreciate you not using that.
Of course, never know. I know. I never call you on something that's not you. But I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a big thing, and like I'll probably ask a couple of other guests and stuff like that if it comes to mind and things of that sort. This is like a big perspective thing because, like, obviously your perspective is you're dude, you're male, and obviously your dating range is females.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
I know, dude. Trust me, I understand. If I wasn't on camera, I'd be in tears too. But so you've dated, you've had some experience, you've had some loss, you've had some growth, you've had a lot. So let's say this.
Yeah.
You have one statement that you can get across to women out there. And they understand it, they accept it, they implement it into their life. It's just like the perfect statement, and it's just always, it's like well received. Or maybe it's well received and it's just taken with no hard feelings or anything like that. You got one thing that you can say to women to change their outlook on dating, their outlook on men, their outlook on you. You have one statement. What are you saying?
Okay. Man, this is a question.
Right? I got to be a little dramatic. Give it some movies, some suspense.
Exactly. Build it up. You did a good job of that. You did a great job. But oh man, this would be all, I think, one encompassing statement, but it's gonna kind of split in like to a two-parter because the first part's just like a sentence, but then I'll explain like why.
I'll allow it because you're sexy.
Okay, I appreciate that. First and foremost, my first thing that I would say to women is that we need each other. But how I would follow that up is for men. In my dating experience, the one thing that I've felt like has fallen for me is the ability to be vulnerable and not be shut down. And so what I would say with that to our women is that be careful and be considerate when your man opens up to you, because if you shut that down, he might never do that again. And I speak from personal experience on this, and I will say this as well, because this isn't your fault, but it's the reason why. I have been guilty of that happening to me, and then I do shut down emotionally in the relationship. Like, I'm not as open anymore. And I've become colder because of that and more closed off.
Right.
And, like, I accept that now in my past. And that's a space I won't ever get to again. I think if that happened to me again, I think I would just have to part ways just because I know what I need and what I want. I think that's been a big part of my growth.
Right.
But, yeah, I really believe it's super important for everyone to be vulnerable in a relationship. You know, if only one side can do that, there's going to be disparities and large holes in the relationship that will be very hard to fix.
Agreed. Like,
yeah.
That, and it also just builds like, and this is not necessarily just a male perspective. It builds this wild resentment.
Yes, speaking from personal experience, that is the biggest emotion that I felt was resentment.
Oh my gosh, that's huge.
Yeah,
Like that's big, and obviously maybe not our reaction is the perfect one.
Yeah,
but we live in a society, we live in a culture that very much tells men to keep their feelings behind closed doors.
Absolutely.
And I do think it's important to be vulnerable in relationships. And honestly, like, I think for us, it's very important to be vulnerable in open spaces.
Yeah.
That's why we have 2 microphones in front of our mouths right now with the camera recording and
all
of that. Like, it's very important to be vulnerable in open spaces. And obviously, we're trying to break that. But for a culture that definitely tells us to regulate and control our emotions most of the time, it is so hard, so absolutely difficult to try to reopen that door. Yeah. Especially when it's been slammed shut from the other side.
Yeah.
Oh, let me cook with this metaphor real quick. It is so hard to reopen that door when it's been slammed on the other side because you don't know if someone's sitting against the door still.
Yeah, that's a great way of explaining that.
I'm good sometimes.
No, that was great.
Thank you, Lord, for that word. Yep. Give me that.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
No, but I agree with that though, because I'm not saying it's impossible to come back from that.
Right.
Because I want to also say this too. I don't expect perfection. And I think any realistic person never would.
Right.
With that though being said, it is, as a man, I have felt that it's very hard to come back from that because I grew up around very stoic people. My natural tendency is to be more stoic.
Right.
So if I come to you and I'm actually honest, like, that's really big of me. Like, if I'm fully being like, hey, this bothered me.
Yeah.
And if that gets shut down, like, and this is not, I'm not blaming the opposite gender. This is on me overall.
Right.
Because this is my work to do and this is mine to fix. But with that, though, I automatically go to that, like, frame of mind where I'm like, yep, I knew I was overreacting, or yep, I knew that this was stupid and I shouldn't have addressed this anyways. And I fully go back on that. And I'm like, yep. And I either freeze or I just kind of go cold. Like, not like fully emotionally cold, like I'm still supportive of them, but it's more like I'm not as expressive about what I'm feeling.
100%. I want to take a pause real quick.
Yeah.
Because I love everything that you're saying, but I want to take a pause and like legitimately break down the fact that in this situation, we're talking about where you got burnt.
Yeah.
Where you expressed your feelings and your feelings were dismissed or told that they were incorrect or whatever, that your feelings were pushed to the side. And yet you're sitting here admitting that your reaction to that is not the correct one and it's something that you're working on. That is massive.
I appreciate that.
Like, in all honesty, like, I don't even know if that's something that I could necessarily say. I feel like I've done it, but I don't know if I would have that revelation or the strength to always sit here and just be like, yeah, I got burnt, but I should have reacted better. That is grown. That is mature. That is growth. That is such a... I feel like for a lot of the general population, that's a very perplexing perspective to take on that, where it's like, you got burnt. Like, in all honesty, like, you have every right to...
You were there for a lot of that, so I mean, like, you can speak to that part, too.
Look, I'll say this.
And this is no shade against anyone, by the way. Like, I'm
the best friend, so I have a little bit of shade. Only because...
I know, but like,
no. Look, here's what I'll say. I am the best friend, so I'm going to have shade because that's a role I take on, and that's a me personality.
And that's just a protective...
Oh, yeah.
Best friend,
you're my brother. Like, so, like, I'm going to go for you on anybody. If you say, hey, someone sneezed on my shirt, Sight. It's go. It's on go. And so for me, obviously, I'm not saying that there's resentment, but there are some hard feelings for me. I'll be honest. I'll be vulnerable.
I think that's a fair place to be, though.
And that's me. And, like, it just shows, for me, the fact that I didn't go through it. I just watched how it hurt you and broke you in certain situations. That sometimes you piss me the fuck off with how good of a person you are. Because you're like, no resentment, no hard feelings. And, like, I know you. And I know you mean that with your, like, entire soul.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off because...
I made jokes in confidence, but, like, in my soul, I really do mean that.
And you have been on this journey for, I'd say, almost the last year, if not a little bit less, of you have no enemies.
Yeah.
Which, that's not my personality type. I'm trying to be a better person. To have no enemies is such a beautiful way to look at the world, and unfortunately, I am the more cynical person out of the two of us, and so I got enemies. So, but the bar you shared with me on the ski lift was insane, where you stated that I feel like a lot of the hatred that I feel like other people have for me, I'm holding myself.
Yeah.
I might have misquoted that. If you want to run back your own bar in the correct language.
You're pretty spot on. So what I said in that moment was, I feel that the animosity that I thought that others held for me is actually a reflection of how I feel about them. And that, I think it was protective for a very long time.
Right.
For me to be in this space of like, oh, this person doesn't like me, or like they're out to kind of get me in some sense.
Right.
But I had a couple experiences happen where that was really tested. And they all happened pretty like close after each other.
Right.
And so it wasn't just like a one-off or something. It was kind of like experiences stacked, and I really had to sit there and be like, this is on me. Like, this is my problem. Like, I'm the one that's holding resentment that doesn't need to be there. Like, and I think it was funny too, because I think at that time I thought I had moved through it, but when it hit me directly on, it was like, I was like, oh,
right,
that's not the case. And I think to add on to that as well, I really do believe now, and like I'm really in this space now where it's like I don't hold resentment for these people, and that's because after all those moments, like I had this even more profound realization where it's like, just as this is my first time living, this is also their first time living too. So who am I to like truly and harshly judge these people?
That's so good.
Yeah,
that's
like,
so good.
Yeah,
and it pisses me off because as the one that is still struggling to get to the I have no enemies part, it's so. I'll say, like, I'll be honest, like, it's so hard. One, I can't disagree with it. That's why it pisses me off. But it's also just so hard to sit there and just... Because I feel like when people do bad things to you, you always want to sit there and be like, well, it had malicious intent.
Well, can I say this before you continue on with your point?
Go ahead.
I think I can be honest, or not I think. I'm going to be honest about this.
Yeah.
It's not like I always see these people and like I'm like, oh, hey, and smiling now.
Right.
Like I'm not saying like just because I have forgiveness for them and empathy for them does not mean that they could also sit at my table ever again.
Right. Yeah.
And that's
big.
That's not disrespectful. Like that's not meant to be any shade or to be disrespectful of anyone. I really wish all of these people the best that they'll have.
Right.
I understand though what is now best for me too. And their involvement would be detrimental to that.
Detrimental is crazy.
I'm being serious.
No, but like I agree.
I'm dead serious.
No,
so,
I just say it's crazy just because, like, first of all, your vocabulary is insane, but also like I'm
really about my peace. Like that's not something I'm really like.
And you don't play, you don't play about that, and I
especially
love that
now.
no, fuck no, now.
After all the experiences and everything, again, no shade to anyone, but like, yeah, like,
yeah,
I understand that won't always be a linear thing. Yeah, that's not how life works. But with this being said, though, like, there will not be an experience that I put myself in, or that will be like. Okay, or I will allow that to happen ever again.
Right.
I'm not at that place in my life anymore. I'm not trying to please that many people. I don't care anymore. Like, I'm confident enough in myself, and I'm proud of who I'm becoming enough to understand that, like, you can feel however you want to feel about me, but that doesn't change how it's going to be.
I love that.
But truly, though, I hold no ill will against you. I just wish you the best.
I do. No, kind of. But yeah. No, that's... I've been hearing a lot recently. I've been working on myself. I've been working on improving stuff. Mostly for me, it's been financial, because that's a generational curse I'm really trying to get past.
It's a hard one.
It's a hard one. It's also like I'm trying to build generational wealth. I'm also trying to build comfortability, but I'm also trying to not let my emotions affect my emotions be as affected by my wallet. Yeah. And so
it's a tough place to be, though.
And so in that growth and development of trying to like figure myself out financially and things of that sort, it's people keep saying, show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you who you are. And where I live and how I live now. Yeah. I'm not going to cry on camera. Not the first episode. Y'all going to have to tune in to something else, because it's not going to happen. But you're going to have to... You can't... You can come at me all day. I recognize my flaws, and I recognize some of my flaws I keep because I don't want my personality necessarily to be for everybody.
Yeah, that's fair though.
But it's also that the fact is, like, you can't tell me my 5 closest friends ain't the shit. Yeah. Sure. Sorry for the accent slip, but you can't tell me that they're not. Because like this whole conversation that we're having is like,
I don't know a lot of people having these conversations.
Not only just that, I'm not talking like, I don't sit here, and obviously I am 23, and so my perspective is a little bit different, but I'm not sitting across talking to a 23-year-old. Like this, I talk to a lot of people, and I meet a lot of people. I work with a lot of older people in a lot of my jobs, and this ain't a real conversation. They don't see shit like this. They don't get burned and then go, this, I shouldn't have reacted this way. I shouldn't have been this way. Yeah. Like, I've been around an older generation a lot, and this type of fucking self-accountability is not seen throughout the general population. Yeah. And so when people are like, show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you who you are, I'm like, damn, I'm the shit. Because if you look at my 5 closest friends, I'm him. Yeah. And no one can tell me any differently, because I keep people like you, Tyler, Leah, Jordan.
I would say Andrew.
Yeah, my boy Andrew. Yeah. I just like, and here's the crazy part about it. I've been so blessed in my life that like I have this friend group up here and I have a friend group back at home. Yeah. That you can't fuck with my friends. Yeah. And that's why it's so hard for me to get rid of certain specific parts of my personality, is because my personality led me to the people that I got around. Yeah. And if they can still love me, I'm doing something right. Now, I do know sometimes I'm a bitch, and that's cool. Like I'll live with that.
But like we all are, though. It's when
we
all have our moments.
But like, yeah, the circle that you help create in a very big way.
We are very blessed.
Oh, you can't argue. You can't.
It's undeniable.
You can't play me, and we're all the same age.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
You
playing? You can't like nah. I won't play with that. My starting 5 is crazy. Like Yeah.
Can I drop a quote on you?
Oh, drop a quote, please.
I've been thinking about this a lot, and it relates a lot to like the letting go and moving on, like we were talking about, but also like I think keeping people around too.
Mm-hmm.
I heard this about close to 2 years ago now, and it's really stuck with me ever since. And it's that sometimes people go because God heard conversations that you didn't. And I think about that a lot. And I think about that a lot.
Wait, sorry. You just I need to pause for 2 seconds. Say that one more time, because I don't know if the people in the back heard that and they need to, and I might get that tattooed at this point. Say that one more time, please.
So this goes along to my faith, which I've been really private about for a very long time. But I'm more comfortable now. I believe that people leave your life because God heard conversations that you didn't.
Amen.
Yeah. And I'm honestly at this point in my life, I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful because one, I think if I did hear those conversations, I don't know at that period of time if I would have been man enough to leave. Just because I think I've talked about this a lot with my family, and this is to an extent it's a blessing, but it's also a flaw.
Right.
I think there's an aspect that I have of myself and my character that is there's an undying loyalty and a strong sense for nobility that has gotten me in trouble.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that quote a lot because I reflect back on the people who I did love and honestly still hold love for, but who are not present in my life any longer. And I appreciate that I'm now here in this moment because of that, like above all. And I honestly, at this point now, I don't live with regret. I thought I did, but I look back on it all and it's like, no, I'm meant to be here right now for a reason. Like this happened for a reason. My fault or not. Like this happened for a reason. I needed this. And I know the next steps I'm going to take are going to be my best ones.
Wow.
Yeah.
I personally don't think that there's much more to say. There's Alec wanted to come down, join, let us know that we're doing a good job.
Yeah, he's hanging out with us.
So in this last
bomb, so I'm sorry.
No, that's a message. In my personal opinion, that is a absolute message. In this last couple minutes that we have, I really hope we don't get cut off. Honestly, at this point, we might restart the camera and.
I was about to say we'll run a little extra. It's the first episode, and we're allowed to do that. What's up, buddy?
I wanna finish with that because you made a statement within that. You made statements within that are so powerful, but you made a statement within that of you have kept your faith quiet, and silent, and now obviously there's going to be Christians out there that disagree with that. That's cool. If you disagree with that, comment. Maybe you'll have a good enough question or a statement for us to respond to it. But I want to know why. Like personally, because I grew up very much in the church, and I grew up very loud and proud, and probably too loud, and never too proud. But I grew up very loud and proud about my faith, and I know that you have been on a journey coming back to it. I want you to. We got 5-ish minutes left, and I want you to just kind of let me hear your testimony.
Yeah. So I didn't grow up religious, and so the experiences that I've had now with this are my first. And so the reason why I was so quiet with it, and I don't really feel shame about that, just because I've realized recently in my life, like the less you talk, the more people listen. So I don't need to drop everything about myself anymore.
Fair.
Because I don't care if people understand me really or not anymore. I understand myself, and that's really all that matters. And I think the people closest to me too also understand me, and that's all that matters. But to go on to this, like, I kept that quiet because I wanted my relationship with God to be authentic, and I didn't want outside influence with that. I wanted to find that for myself and see what that meant to me. And I think, not because I don't think people could have guided me along the way, I think quite the contrary, but I do wholeheartedly believe I wouldn't be at this position right now if I looked at a bunch of people and was like, you need to tell me how this works, because I would think I would have been overwhelmed. Like, I started by simply just reading the Bible. Like, I was literally how I was like, I was just curious. At like my junior year of college, I started getting more curious about it. And I just started looking into it more and more. And then I had a pretty, like, I would say, chemically altering life moment happen to me my junior year, and that was I was with somebody that I had never loved a woman like that before. I'll be fully like transparent about that. I'm not really ashamed to admit that anymore. And she left me, and I'm not, again, no shade, but like that is the truth of that situation.
That's what happened.
And I remember feeling lost because I gave everything to that. I believe so much of my future was in that. And then all of a sudden, for not a lot of context, it was like, hey, this is over.
Yeah.
And I was like, where do I go? And I went back to the Bible. And that was where I was like, God has me.
Yeah.
When nobody else does, like, God has me.
Yeah.
And I think about a lot of moments in my life where, like, I was tested by myself. And I always remembered in those younger moments, I was praying for something, but I didn't know who to. And I finally pieced it in that moment. I was like, it was always you. I was like, I've always run to you for good and bad. Like, I've always been like, thank you, or I need help. And that was when I was like, it was in that realization and in that moment where I was like, I'm committed.
Yeah.
And I'm not perfect. I'm not even close to being a good Christian, but I'm trying. And I'm proud of just that. And my favorite verse, the verse that really struck me above all, was, and this is, let me pull it up. I'm pretty sure it's Proverbs 24:16. I could be wrong about that, so don't entirely quote me on if that's the right one. But
let's hear the good word.
Oh, it is Proverbs 24:16. I was correct. So, for the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, but the wicked stumble when calamity strikes. And I read that and I was like, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be okay.
Yes, you are.
Because I'm on my feet again. So yeah,
I love it. I think that's a perfect way to wrap up.
Yeah.
Guys. Yeah, that's Max, dude. That's
me.
That's the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
Maxwell. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you all very much.
Many more episodes to come. If you are on YouTube, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you are updated every single time that we go ahead and post one of these podcasts. If you are on a listening platform, please, we would ask for a 5-star review, but in all honesty, talk your shit. So
that's
whatever.
The timer to end.
That's the timer to end. So we are out of here, and we will see you next time. God bless.
Thank you all.
Yeah.